Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my DC home buying journey. Today is, I don't know. Ah, Today is April 27th, 2022, and I am feeling okay. I am working on my patience. What's happening now? I told you about the property we saw. That was really nice, new build. I hope I told you about this property. Um, It was really nice, new build. I did because we talked about you shouldn't go see stuff that's outside your budget. So I shouldn't looked at the one that was outside my budget first. But anyway, so um, I filled out forms for the property that is within my budget and turned those forms in. So the way it turns out right now, which um, it's kind of interesting. So the property is a part of one of DC programs where it's slated for a moderate income, low moderate income persons. So we have a couple of different programs in DC. There's IZO, there's another one. So I know IZO. I had talked about IZO before, um, where my counselor was like, you shouldn't really do IZO properties. So I had not been looking at IZO properties. When I went and looked at this property, it wasn't necessarily labeled as a IZO property because IZO properties, you have to go through like a lottery system for IZO. And when I went and looked at this property and was talking to the lady was like, "Oh no, we don't do a lottery system. It is based on your income. That's why the properties are priced the way they are and things like that." So it's like, "Oh, okay." So the young lady that's representing the property had a conversation with the DC housing people, and so there's all this additional paperwork, and it's like going through. I don't want to say it's absolutely going through everything all over again, but it kind of feels like that because I have to turn in 6 months worth of this, that, and this, and it's like, man, didn't I go through all of this to get approved for the loan, to get approved for the HPAP and the EPAP? I've turned in all of this stuff, and so I didn't want to go through the IZO program. Turns out this is the program. It's just not the lottery type of program. It's still one of those properties. And here's what I finally found out. Okay, so I have to turn in all this paperwork. So I was like, okay, I like this property. It's new built. Let me just give it a try because I'm working my patience and I prayed about it and it was like I'm gonna commit to giving it a try to see what happens. So I got the paperwork together and I sent this morning after I was able to get everything together, scan it, and put it all in one email. I sent the people who I'm supposed to email an email, and the lady was like, "Hey, Miss Sister, I see you have some questions. Can you please give me a call?" Sure. So I gave her a call, and she was so nice. And I had called from my work phone, so on my work phone, there's a screen where you could see each other who's talking. She was like, "Hello, Miss Crystal. Oh, I can see you, so I don't normally turn on my phone for people, but I will because I can see you, so you can see me." So she turned on the phone, and she was absolutely sweet. She answered all my questions, and she still explained. And she was like, "Do you know what this means?" And I was like, "Well, they told me that it was a property for a medium moderate income and that I couldn't make more than a certain amount, but I fell within that amount, and that's all they told me really." And she was like, "Well, let me explain it to you." So the thing about this program is that if you purchase this home, depending on what amount, it's like 50%, 60%. There's this number, there's this percentage that if you try to sell it within 2 years or 3 years of your purchase, that you will not get the equity and you cannot sell it for more than this amount of what it's worth. So if you buy this property at say 2,000, 200,000, and then you lived in it for like 2 years, and you want to sell it, and the market value is now $400,000, you could still only sell it for, is it 50% of that? So I would only be able to sell it for, let's see, 200,000, 300,000, 50%. Actually, it would still be 200,000. So it would be 50% of the market value. She was trying to explain it to me where I wouldn't be able to sell it for the whole market value. I would only be able to sell it for, depending on the numbers, whether it's 50, 60, 80, 50%, whatever that number is of market value. That would that's all I'd be able to sell it for. Also, if you sell it within that time frame, you can only sell it to another low to moderate income person to keep these homes, condos, homes, and available for low to moderate income people, to keep these people in DC. The goal of the program is that they're trying to keep people in DC that won't be priced out, because if you leave it up to just the builders and stuff like that, then everybody who's like, I'm a native Washingtonian, but I don't make $100,000 a year. So if there wasn't for these programs, it's possible that I could be priced out of DC. So in order to do this, they're trying to keep people, lower to moderate income people in DC. And when she was explaining it to me, I was like, oh, okay. So she was like, I very much want you to understand that if you had any thought that you wanted to be selling within the next 2 years. And I was like, well, no. If I'm purchasing right now, my plan is to stay. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon, because if I purchase, I already said my plan was, if I purchase, I'm going to stay until my youngest daughter graduates. So that's more than 2 years, more than 3 years, at least. And she was like, okay. So I was like, thank you so much for explaining that to me, because I didn't understand, and I didn't understand why it was like, oh no, you don't, my counselor was like, you don't need to look at those programs. You'll get approved for enough that you'll be able to get something without, and you'll be able to build your equity and take out. That's the biggest thing. I can't take any equity out right now until that cutoff time. Like, I think she kept saying 2 years. So I think I have to be in there past 2 years. So probably in the third year, it's possible I could take equity out. So I can understand why my counselor was like, you won't be able to take any, you don't need these programs, just do a regular program, because she's thinking of wealth building and being able to take equity out of your home to do the things that you need to do. And I can understand that. She was really looking out for my well-being. And also, during that time when we started this process, her mind thought was I was going to get approved for more. My mind thought was I was going to get approved for more. So if I would have gotten approved for more, like the previous year, last year, y'all know, I went through this, and I had a pre-approval at that time, and it was for more. The pre-approval was for more. There was more houses available to me at that time, so I wouldn't have had to look at these type of properties. But of course, inflation, life, da. Now this is where I am, which I'm not upset about. It's like, okay, I don't have a plan to purchase and then run out of there really soon, unless God has a plan. God causes or allows all things. But yeah, well, that's where we are right now. Is more paperwork, man. The paperwork is what's really doing it for me. And then also the extra paperwork I needed because my son is over 18. Although he's a student, he's in college, he doesn't work or anything, but the fact that he's over 18 and he will be living with me, I had to turn in more paperwork for him. The amount of paperwork you have to go through for these things. So I was like, I couldn't understand. Like, couldn't you use all the paperwork that I have been giving to everybody else? I feel like I am giving away everything as far as paperwork. But I guess I just have to keep pushing on. And talking this out right now, this is really helpful because earlier today I was not smiling and laughing. I was just so overwhelmed and feeling, and I think I'm feeling it for myself. And I'm trying to balance it out with praying and being thankful. So I go in the bathroom and just start thanking Father for things. I'm thanking Father for my body. Thank you, just being grateful and being in gratitude for even the opportunity to do this is helping me out a lot. So that's where we are now. Um, and we will see what happens. We have a plan in house. We have a plan with me, my children, and my grandchildren. And we just have to see. And I also asked them how long they think the process was going to take because my, well, two reasons. My HPAP is going to expire um, at the beginning of July. I thought it was the beginning of June. It turns out I looked at the paperwork. It's actually the beginning of July. And two, when I spoke to the lady, or when the lady spoke to the realtor, she was like, "There's a wait list," and I was like, "Are they holding that property since I picked it out? Are they going to hold it for me while um, DC Housing goes through this verification and all of that kind of stuff? I don't want to miss out because um, DC Housing is taking their time." So I asked the lady both questions, and she was like, "Oh, it'll be done. You'll be in your place well before that expires." I was like, "Oh, okay." And then she also was like, um, "They said it was a waiting list." I was like, "Yeah." The lady mentioned that there was a waiting list, and she was like, "I'll have a conversation. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start working on this, and yeah." So we'll see. Now it's I do have one more piece of paperwork to turn in, but I have to wait until I get to my son comes home because we have to get the form that he signed notarized. So yeah, but now it's a matter of being patient and getting prepared. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Being patient and getting prepared. My best friend, she just moved, so I asked her for the information about the moving company. I definitely don't have as much as she did, but it'd be nice to have a moving company this time around, especially if I have the extra money in the savings account. And I'm getting little things to organize what I have, so when I take it to the new place, it'll be a little better. Yeah. So that's what's going on now. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the other side. Bye.